Okay, everyone. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the key for this. So we're going to walk through this, check your answers as you go. So for part one, we were naming the following ionic compounds from formula to name. So for this, the easiest way to look at this is to look at the subscript that's on the non-metal, since we know the metal is the one that's a transition metal. So this is going to be iron 2 nitride. And then here, this one is a little bit more difficult, but we do have to use our periodic table. So if you look at your periodic table, iodide is in group 17, so it has a -1 charge. That must mean, since we don't see, if you do the reverse crisscross method, since you don't see the subscript right here, that means this is going to be silver 1 iodide. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is number 3. This one, we have to look at our periodic table because it looks like it has been reduced since there is no subscripts. Oxygen is in group 16, so it actually has a -2 charge. So that must mean that this, if you reverse crisscross, that must mean that manganese has a +2 charge. So this is your answer for number 3. And then here, this one's easy. We can just look at our subscript here. This is scandium, and that's a 3. So we're going to do scandium 3, and that's nitrate. Here, sulfate has a charge on it of -2. So this must mean, since we don't have our sulfate in, parentheses, that must mean that this is a 1, since we do not see the parentheses or the subscript. So this is going to be copper 1 sulfate. So for number 6, this is strontium. Sulfur is in group 16, so it has a -2 charge. So since we do not see the subscripts here, we have to assume that this has been reduced, which it has been. So the answer for this one is going to be strontium 2 sulfide. Okay, now the next one, this right here, we can reverse. That's our charge on sulfur. There is no subscript here, so we know that that's at least 1. So if we reverse crisscross, that means that this is copper 1 sulfide. All right, and then the next thing we've got here is zinc and iodine. So iodine's in group 17 and has a -1 charge. There is technically a 1 there, we know that. So that would match up here if we reverse crisscross. That means zinc is zinc 2 iodide. And then number 9, we've got nitrate and manganese. Well, nitrate we know is a -1. We can't see that subscript there. So we can go ahead and just reverse. So this is going to be manganese 3 nitrate. And then last but not least, number 10, phosphate has a charge on it of -3. Since we do not see our subscripts, so this is not in parentheses and we don't see a subscript here, we have to assume they actually both have the same charge because this has been reduced. So we can assume that this is iron 3 phosphate. Okay. Now we've got our part 2, which is the formula to the name. So this one means that you guys just have to pay attention to charges. Remember that the Roman numerals goes with the charge of the metal. So gold is Au +3, and chloride is in group 17, so it has a -1 charge. So we can go ahead and crisscross, drop that plus and minus. So that would give us this as our answer. Okay, number 12 is zinc 2 phosphate. So remember that Roman numeral 2 is the charge on the zinc. Phosphate has got a charge of -3. Okay, so then we can go ahead and crisscross, get rid of the plus and the minus. Your answer should look like this. Number 13, nickel 2 oxide. So nickel has a +2 charge in this instance. Oxygen has a -2 charge. Well, this is going to be pretty easy here. We just have to do this. And since they have the exact same subscript, we can reduce further. So our final answer actually looks like that. Number 14 is copper 2 hydroxide. So copper in this instance has a +2 charge. Hydroxide is one of our polyatomic ions, and it has a -1 charge. So we'll go ahead and crisscross, get rid of our plus and our minus here. So our final answer should look something like that. Number 15 is iron 3 phosphide. So iron has a +3 charge. Phosphide is just phosphorus, which has a -3 charge because it is in group 15. So if we go ahead and crisscross, get rid of the plus and the minus, we are given this initially. Remember, if it's got the same subscript, you can actually go ahead and get rid of it. So we can reduce it further, and that's our answer. Number 16 is copper 2 sulfate. So copper in this instance has a +2 charge. Sulfate always has a -2 charge. So we'll go ahead and crisscross, get rid of our plus and our minus. We have this initially. And remember, if it's got the same subscript, we can go ahead and reduce further. So our answer should look like that. Number 17 is lead 2 nitrate. So lead has the +2 charge. Nitrate is one of our polyatomic ions, and it has a -1 charge. So we'll go ahead and crisscross, get rid of the plus and the minus, and then we are left with a molecule that looks like that, or a formula that looks like that. 18 is cobalt 2 sulfide. So cobalt has the +2 charge. Sulfide is sulfur, so it has a -2 charge because it's in group 16. We'll go ahead and crisscross, get rid of our charge. Initially, you're going to be given, or you're going to figure that out. Remember that if it's got the same subscripts, it can be reduced further. So our answer should look like that. Funny Harry Potter side note, that looks like the shortened version of how we say Chamber of Secrets. Number 19 is silver 1 nitrate. So silver has a +1 charge in this instance. Nitrate is one of our polyatomic ions, so it has a -1 charge like that. We can go ahead and crisscross, get rid of the charges. So our answer should look like that. Last but not least is iron 3 oxide. So the iron in this instance will have a +3 charge. Oxygen always has a -2 because it's in group 16. So we're going to go ahead and crisscross, get rid of our charges, and our answer should look like that. Let me know if you guys have any questions or need any clarifications.